I'm sitting here with Mr. Doug Hamilton. Some of you guys might recognize from the Privateer pages and some of his beautiful artwork and sculpts from in Privateer Press. Doug, why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the sculpts that you've done this past year and what we can look forward to?
Sure. If you, we can talk about ones that are coming up, or is that what you want to talk about?
Yeah. Which ones have you done? Which ones are you most? Which ones?
Happiest with?
Yes. Sorry.
Well, I think the coolest thing about this time of the year is that we're releasing all the journeymen. Mm-hmm. So the journeymen are becoming full-blown casters. That's exciting for me because I kind of get to see my journeymen grow up. Mm-hmm. So at Gen Con this year, we had, at least the models that I did, we had Alara grow up, we had Icos grow up, and then Dallas was also painting Una 2, which is one of my favorites.
That's one of the more beautiful sculpts. Out of the ones that you showed us, I know everybody was in love with Alara, and I don't even play Circle, but I just want to buy Una just to paint her, just because that cloak looks amazing.
I'm excited about Una 2, and then also we have at War Machine Weekend we have some pre-releases coming up. Mm-hmm. So I have a couple more coming there. It's going to be Una 2 will release there, mm-hmm. and then also Fianna 2 will release there, and I may have just got a copy of her this weekend that I want to paint up and have it ready to go because she is going to wreck face. Her and a couple of the new NIST Warlords that I'm going to start painting them and show those off at War Machine Weekend. And
because those models are fair.
They'll go good with my 2 Hellmouth. But then some of the other things coming up that I'm excited about that I've been showing over the summer, Azrael is coming up, a character war beast for Legion. And of course, like we've been talking about all day, you and I are talking about Loki. Mm-hmm. And how excited we are to see him. So I can't wait for everybody to see that. But then I also, at Lock and Load, I was able to show off some work-in-progress shots of Callus 2, who's coming along good. In fact, he may be finished. I know I was just starting on Fiora 3. She's coming along good.
I know everybody's really excited for that. Lock and Load, that was one of the big ones that everybody kept talking about was your Fiora 3 on the Flaming Horse.
Right, and I was just starting to work on Fiora, so they didn't even get to see the horse, and the horse actually turned out really cool. So I'm excited, especially as that's my first Protectorate model. So I'm anxious to see how she turns out, physically, and how people like her. And I hopefully the rules are really good, so that way if they don't like the sculpt, they still buy her and play her a lot.
Kind of like Resnick too. Everybody.
Yes, exactly.
Because it's just such a beautiful sculpt. You just cannot pass the
right, and that's. But then I have the future for me. I have a couple more Rhett projects coming up. 3 of them, I believe. I think I have a couple more little Legion things coming up. Okay. And I'm hoping that gets me over the next couple months. After that, I'm not even sure. I'm keep my eye open on some new things, but a lot of cool things coming out, a lot of great models that I'm excited about, and I can't wait to play them.
Who do you think was your favorite to sculpt this past year? Would it have been Azrael or Loki? Or
Azrael and Loki turned out so good. Hellmouth turned out so good. But the model that everybody says ooh over is Una 2. And she's just a warcaster, but there was something about it that clicked, and every time everybody sees her, they're just so excited about her.
But was she your favorite to sculpt?
My favorite was probably Azrael. I really like the serpentine aspects, mm-hmm. and he has that. I know what he does, so I also know that he's really good. And so I combine all that. I know who he is bonded to. I like that. It's just everything hit for him.
Now, can you tell us who Azrael's is attached to?
Not yet, okay. But I will tell you that I got the opportunity to do the model entry for Azrael in the Forces of War Machine book for Legion that's coming up. So I'm very excited about that. It's the only writing I've done so far, and Matt Getz was like, do you want to do some writing? And I was like, yes. And he's like, what would you like to write? I was like, Azrael. And he's like, okay, well, here's a little bit of background, or here's a guideline. Go ahead and write. So I came up with something. He's like, yeah, we like that. And I'm sure he retooled the entire thing to make it actually sound good. But
and not be like me, like one big run-on sentence.
Yes, exactly. And me babbling and being like, and he's really cool, and he did this, and he probably makes it sound much better than what I did. But it was still a lot of fun being able to write the model entry for one of my favorite sculpts.
Well, I could definitely see where that would be a whole lot of fun for you.
Yes, super cool opportunity.
So is there anything else you can tell us about that you might be? I know you said what projects that you're working on. Anything that we can look on the horizon? Or,
Let's see. I mean, I'm sure we'll have some pre-releases at War Machine Weekend coming up. And then outside of that, I'm not sure of all of the scheduling. It just
really all depends.
yeah, I'm just not
not
caught up on production's schedule.
Well, I'm sure that you're enjoying slowing down a little bit now that you get all the journeymen's done.
Yes, the journeymen were big because we went from get all the new casters done for the battle boxes, then we went to let's get all the journeymen done, and we have to have them all done on time, and so we've kind of pushed through all that. Now it's a little bit of a lull. We still have a ton of things to do, and we have. I don't know if you've heard, we have a new faction coming out next year.
Yes, I'm really excited. Everybody's talking about what the name of the faction is.
Yes.
Because I mean, everybody's like, oh, it's Grimkin. Well, Grimkin are gremlins, but from what we can gather and what I can gather from the community is it's basically all the stuff that goes bump in the night kind of gathered together into one giant faction.
Well, I'm a big fan of things that go bump in the night, so if you guys are right, then that's going to be great. I know the artwork that I've seen is fantastic. It's just, it's like nothing we've done before.
I know I asked Dallas the most important question to me concerning the factions. Everybody's like, well, is it this? Is it going to be this? And I said, how much fun was it to paint? And the look on his face was kind of like...
He's really excited about painting this stuff.
That was sold it for me.
Yeah, good.
I don't know if I don't know how it's going to play or what, and speaking with some of the other Privateer Press staff, obviously they can't give everything away. They said it's going to play like nothing we've ever seen before.
Right.
In Hordes. I know that, and I had mentioned to someone, I said, so it'll be like Convergence in the way that their synergy is for like War Machine kind of transferred to Hordes, and the person said yes, and at the same time, no.
Well, that person would know. I haven't done any kind of play test on the new faction. I've worked on one sculpt that's finished and is so cool. I'm very excited about it, even if that's the only sculpt I do for the faction.
Can I ask if it was a caster?
It was not a caster.
Solo, beast, can't say. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But
super cool, though.
Okay, right on.
And it was definitely out of my comfort zone.
Okay.
It was not the usual model for me, so that was fun.
The Blightbringer, when you did the Blight, you sculpted the...
I did, yeah, Blightbringers.
When they showed the original concept art for that, I know that a lot of people were poo-pooing.
Yes, they were worried.
And I thought, my own personal, I thought that it was one of the most outside of the box thinking things that Privateer Press had done so far today. And then your sculpt came out even better than I could have possibly.
Thank you.
It actually, I don't know if you ever read the comic Scud. It reminded me of Jeff from the Scud comics. It's just a very weird and very outside, like I said, just outside of the box thinking, and really loved the look of the model.
I was a little worried. I know the community was a little worried, and I told the Legion community, I was like, don't worry, I've got you. And many people have come to me after that model released, and they said, like, you know what, you told us you'd take care of us, and you did. And one of the things, I actually went to Ed Burrell, and I asked him, I'm like, are you sure you want to do this? Because shouldn't we do another dragon? Some of the reason is I really wanted to do another dragon. Mm-hmm. Brian Dugas did the Archangel, and it's maybe the best model we have in our line.
My friend had to buy two of them right before the rules even came out, just because he knew he wanted to pay two different ones.
The story I tell on the Archangel is that when I started at Privateer, he came out a couple months after I started, and our players get the models first. Mm-hmm. Well, I couldn't get access to one right away. So I actually ordered one from an online store and had it sent back to Privateer so that I could have it right away, because I didn't want to wait. Because I'm just like everybody else that plays our game. I don't want to wait for models. I want them now. So I had it sent back right away. But I asked him, I was like, couldn't we do another dragon? He's like, no, we're going to change it up this time. We're going to do something different. And I was skeptical, and
so it was most of the community. I know.
Yeah, we were, and it worked out fine. Everybody was like, oh, this, they really loved it, and it was a lot of fun. And
that to me was, and I know that Legion is the dragon faction, but that to me was more more like the blighted look. Whenever I read, and look at anything, and just like even like the way like Thagarosh looks, like just like everything's kind of morphing out, and
right.
the way that you did your Abbey, like everything is really just kind of over the top. And when you hit it with the Blightbringer, it was just
it fits in.
Gone.
And one of the things that I've been trying to do, like I tried to do with Abby, is I want to do monstrous, but this weird, almost beautiful, twisted, scary, blighted,
a terrifying beauty.
Yeah, right. and when you guys, you probably saw it Lock and Load when I showed Fiona too. And I feel like I kind of captured that. And it's almost like I almost feel like Abby 2 and Fiona 2 look like they're related. They're these beautiful women, but they're kind of twisted and blighted, and they're going to kill you.
Yeah, horrifying.
Yeah, and that's.
I'm not looking forward to playing against Abby 2.
Oh, she's so good. Wait till you see what Fiona 2 does.
Against Fiona 2.
She's so good.
The solo is bad enough as it is. I can't imagine what the war.
I'm excited. I'm anxious to see what the community thinks of Fiona 2. I know what she does. I've seen her card, and I'm making lists in my head. And I was like, yeah, she's going to be a ton of fun to play.
I'm assuming from what you're saying, she's kind of going to be more of a fast pace, kind of like Abby
fast.
is. Okay,
yeah.
That's going to make the Legion community very happy,
man.
I would imagine.
And she's gonna be able to run beast and infantry pretty well. I really think she'll be a combined arms caster.
Okay, nice.
I could be wrong. I mean, our community doesn't always play the same way I play.
Oh no, I mean, well, that's I think one of the coolest things about having the community as far as worldwide, because of the fact that you will get guys that come up with synergies over in the Netherlands that you never would have considered.
Right. That's one of the cool things about the new edition is seeing. Now that we're a couple months in, we're starting to see new combinations, and people are getting past the easier stuff. Like, okay, I'm just going to play Gunline, or for me, I'm going to play Kador because they have Armor 20 and Weapon Master, so that'll make me competitive. Now people are starting to find some intricacies, some tricks, those tricky combos, and you're starting to see different factions rise up, and the ones we thought were the best and overpowered, they're dropping down a little bit, and it's all going to level up.
Yeah, it always takes the community.
Yes, and I love seeing people that were a little upset about the change, and I love seeing them now that they're full bore back into the game. They're loving it. They're having a good time.
Everybody except Scorn.
Scorn is actually pretty darn good.
No, they are, and I mean, it's still I read the cards. Minoth was my other faction. I saw the card.
Yes.
Before they came out, and I still got rid of my Minoth going into Scorn. I knew.
I understand that.
I still like what Scorn does. I love the aesthetic, absolutely. And now that I'm starting to see a little bit, it just everything down to a core changed in the faction,
right.
And that's where everybody's having the hardest time. Like Legion, they changed some stuff, but they stayed pretty much the same. Circle, they changed a little few things, but stayed kind of the same.
I tried to warn the Legion community the weeks leading up to the new edition. I tried, because I'm pretty good with the Legion guys, and I tried warning them. I was like, you guys are going to get some changes, and it's going to be okay. I couldn't tell them that their heavies were going to be knocked down to speed 5, and they were lose to tenacity, and Veil 2 was getting a little bit of a tweak.
Spinding growth was the big one that they.
Well, tenacity was
tenacity. Yeah,
that was
tenacity
was
a big one too.
And Veil 2 losing refuge. There were going to be some unpopular decisions, but there were other things that were going to be fine. That were going to the faction was going to change a little bit, but it's going to be fine. And at first, Legion players were a little worked up, and now Legion's starting to win events.
Yeah.
You can see they're just fine.
Yeah, the only like you said, I mean, the only community really that's having the hardest time right now dealing with it, and part of that is just the hype, is the Scorn community. But all the other communities have really started to come around. Even the Grix community, maybe.
And if there was a post the other night from one of the players here in the Midwest, and he was complaining that Scorn didn't have any good casters, and I was like, have you played Scorn? Because I was watching Mordekar get played the other night, and that dude is an ass kicker. To the point where I'm like, I think I'm going to order some
Void
a
Spirits
Mordekar.
Mordekar are just stupid.
Oh,
then
my
you take
God.
Katori and Ferox and you throw them in there and keep reviving
So good,
them.
and they look good.
Oh yeah.
To the point where I literally started making a list to order on my next order back back to the office that I might just get a small Scorn Force because I've always liked the way Mordecai looked, and he is good.
One of the best, I think, personally, in our with the changes in Mark III, one of the best to come out is Makeda 3. Now, the only hard part about Makeda 3 is she is a savvy person's caster.
Yeah.
You have to know going into it what your opponent's stuff does and how it is that you're going to play her. But she is a super, super powerful combination of Malik Karn or Tiberian. Just so many really cool.
And all those guys look so good.
And I love the new Tiberian resculpt. I don't know.
Michael Jenkins again.
Mike Jenkins again.
Told you, he's the best in the world.
Oh my God, man! I don't care what any. I think that thing looks.
It's
awesome.
fantastic.
It looks like it just wants to be painted in non-metallic metals and just big scrapes down the side.
Every model that kid touches is gold. He's just. We were talking before we started the interview that I really think he's the best miniature sculptor in the world.
I'm looking forward to paint because we're getting ready. I just told you because you just started telling me that 2 models that I'm getting ready to paint: the Colby Sterling from Lock and Load, and then the Hutchuk.
Right, and again, both Jenkins.
Yeah, those are. And I'm just looking at that Colby, and I'm like, man, there's so many great parts to this model, and I just cannot wait to start getting it. And then the Hutchuk, I mean, I don't know why he's on a medium because he's just so big. And he's so glorious. But I mean, But
one of the great things for me was being able to work with guys like Brian Dugas and Michael Jenkins and Ben Meisner. These guys have all been in the industry for a while, and they're all just great sculptors. So to be able to look over at them and being a competitive person, I'm like, God, I want to compete with these guys. So it was fun learning from them the last few years and really helping me along.
Nice. So anything else you can know? I mean, we're pretty much. We know what we're coming out with. We got command books coming out here in the next
soon,
in December.
December, right?
December's going to start the command.
And we just
books.
posted a preview of those books. The covers look so good.
And that's going to be Trolls and Menoth.
Are they both December?
I believe those. I believe they're doing the one boards, or I could be wrong.
I don't actually know. I know Trolls is December. That's all I know.
One boards, one war machine is what their goal was.
Right. Okay.
But obviously,
I know when Legion is due out, and I know when Retribution is due out.
Now, when can we expect to see? Do you know when we might be able to start seeing Azrael and Loki?
Not soon enough, I guess. I actually asked Will Schick if I could play Azrael at War Machine Weekend this year, and he said no, a little too soon.
A little too soon.
So my guess is that would be good.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really know. It's up to those guys. I have nothing to do with it, obviously, but hopefully soon, because as soon as they're released, then I can play them.
Okay.
And I'm really looking forward to getting Azrael on the battlefield.
That's that. Like I said, that's one that I'm looking forward to wanting to possibly play him or Loki. Both of them look just amazing looking.
So excited about him.
Yeah, lots of fun little parts on Loki that I remember looking at when you were still kind of in the early design stages when.
I love that model because as you look at him at different angles, it kind of looks like he has this smile going, and it's just one of those things that it just happened to turn out good.
Fantastic. And we can expect to see, and then as you said, your Una and your Fianna will be at War Machine Weekend.
My Una and Fianna plus the rest of the Horde's Journeyman Warlocks.
Okay.
Going full grown. They're full Warlocks now. They'll be at War Machine Weekend.
And then do we know when the official launch? I know they're going to have them at War Machine Weekend, but they won't have them.
As far as an official street date outside of that, I have no idea. I'm sure we'll have some other goodies at War Machine Weekend. I have no idea what. It's getting close though, but
it's not going to be a Hydra, is it?
I don't know. I mean, we started showing a Storm Raptor. Maybe a Storm Raptor will be there.
I still love your quote from Loki when I was talking to you about the Hydra, and you said, it's not like we have a whole warehouse of them.
That's what I tell people.
You guys.
Right. I tell people, I was like, when I was given Zuriel to sculpt, I was given Zuriel and the Nephilim resculpts at the same time. Well, they didn't tell me what order to do them in. Their assumption was I would practice on the resculpts and then do Zuriel. Well, I didn't want to wait, so I did Zuriel first because I knew we wouldn't sit on that model. So he would release early, which means I get to play him early. And it worked out where we released him a couple months early at War Machine Weekend, and it was good.
See, now just that's the secret right there. If you want to be an even better player at War Machine, you need to go work for Privateer Press, so you can make the models and get them even faster.
Right. That's what I try to do. I pick out the models I like. I try to get them done so that I can play with them. So if for players that play the factions I like to sculpt, it works out good for them.
Right on. Well, thank you very much, Mr.
No problem.
Hamilton.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. It's been great having you, and we definitely love to see you some more on the communities and maybe talk about some other things when you.
Yeah, absolutely. With being in the Midwest a little bit more often now, hopefully I can get over here to visit with you guys on another event.
All right, yeah, that would be fantastic. We'd love to see you for some more. We'll throw events just so we can get you over here.
Yeah, that works for me. I love coming to this town. So
that sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
We're going to chat with Mr. Doug Hamilton.